The question I'm answering here is all the hype around the Dunlop Trailmax Mission really true? Why are so many riders migrating to this particular tire? Well, the only reasonable thing to do is grab my wallet, go down to the dealership and buy a set, throw them on the bike. And now that I have several thousand miles on them, doing training, riding the BDRs, riding the twisty mountain back roads, and doing some highway touring, here's my thoughts. The first thing I noticed about the Dunlop Trailmax Mission is these tires are heavy and they have a very stiff sidewall. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. These are as heavy and the sidewalls are as stiff as other tires that I've heard people complain about mounting, such as the Moto Zs or the Motas, the Mitas, the EO7 Plus, the Heidenau K60. These are definitely the same class, both for weight and for stiffness. When I bought these tires from the dealership, I installed them in the parking lot. That means I used my spoons that I carry with me for doing trail repairs, my air pump, and just a little can of WD-40 to help that rim seat when the time came. And I was able to get it done. The stiff sidewall is really an advantage when we get off-road. If we're hitting hard rock, hard edges, it's definitely more likely to protect the rim from damage. So although it does decrease some of the performance, you have more unsprung weight, you have more weight to brake and more weight to get spun up when it's time to accelerate. From the adventure standpoint on a heavy touring bike that's going off-road, I think it's a pretty solid choice that Dunlop made. Yesterday I was up at Mount St. Helens, just incredibly fun, twisty roads back and forth, and it really stood out to me how stable this tire is. Really confidence inspiring. Also, I crossed a very long metal graded bridge, and this tire tracked beautifully. It didn't wander all over, it didn't get that knobby wobble. In fact, it tracked cleaner and straighter than most street tires that I've been on. I am starting to get just a little bit of the low spots and the high spot pattern that we see on any of these large bikes that are running hard in corners. And certainly when you get into a knobby, if you wear it long enough, you'll end up with that shark finning or that high-low on the tread pattern. I'm just starting to develop that. It's very small, very minor, and given how hard I've pushed this bike and this tire, I'm really impressed with its wear and tear. This video is not sponsored. Dunlop did not give me a set of tire. In fact, the dealership didn't even give me a discount. I paid full price on these tires, put them on myself. And I do that because I want to make sure that these reviews, that my opinions are not tainted. This is a really good tire. I think Dunlop really hit the target. We need a tire that's going to last a long time. It needs to be able to tour to the locations we want to go to. It should be fun in the corners, and it should do decent on the types of roads that most of these adventure bikes spend their time on, which is hard-packed gravel roads, hard-packed dirt roads, double track, and single vehicle width roads. And it does all of those very, very well. In fact, when I was cornering on this bike doing the twisties, I really couldn't tell I was riding on a 21-inch tire on a 1200 GS. It felt more like the original stock 19-inch tire. So very stable in the corners, very nice transitioning from left to right, very stable on that transition. Also, it doesn't track rain grooves. The rain grooves on the freeway and the steel graded bridges with the grooves, this tire had less movement and tracked those less than almost any tire I've used, including dedicated street tires. And that's a pretty impressive feat. So very good, very confident, inspiring tire. But there are a couple of negatives. It's definitely not a cheap set of tires, competitive, but not cheap. The sidewalls being very stiff and the tire protecting the rim comes at a cost of weight, and of course that stiff sidewall is going to be a pain if you have to change these on a trail to fix if you got to pull off the wheel or the tire to patch from the inside. If you can plug it, that's great. But that's going to be definitely a pain for you. And probably the biggest down to this tire was I was surprised how loud they were. When I first put them on the bike, I was expecting it to be quiet, like the Battle Axe, the AX 40 or the X41. But in fact, what it turned out to be is more like some of the more aggressive knobby tires that are out there. Don't really notice it now, but I certainly noticed it when I first put it on the bike. And as you roll into those corners, you'll start to feel that vibration of that tread that goes up the sidewall, and you'll start to hear that noise. So that's what you can expect with these. Dunlop did good on this tire. It's a good tire. I would definitely have no problem running it again unless I'm getting into very aggressive off-road conditions or muddy conditions. Then this style tire isn't going to work. Doesn't matter who makes it. It's a win. Thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for watching the review. Let me know what you think. If you have a set, let me know what you think about the tires in the bottom. And if you have any questions I haven't answered, please make sure you throw those in the comments below. Remember, smile while you ride. Attitude matters.